Hello hunters, and welcome to this video. I have a request by a subscriber to of course do a in-depth look at gameplay into private matches and with high-level players, and so yeah, I shall certainly give you that video here today. Just going to use the same two builds, Jungle Hunter Tracker and Jungle Hunter Fervent, the two most versatile builds that we have in the game, and yeah. So you can see the build, loadout, etc. Yeah, the standard kind of stuff. Got the sensitivities here, and the custom controls here. I tend to have a hotkey for my primary and secondary weapons, and that's about it. And the change of jump and branch switch. Okay, now getting into the gameplay here. So first match was with Jungle Hunter Tracker. Usually I use Jungle Hunter Tracker instead of Fervent if I'm looking to prevent reinforcements, which sometimes goes to plan, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, so I'll just give you the few tips and pointers that I have for this gameplay here. So when you start off the match, usually you want to just get your target isolation off as soon as it comes off the cooldown. You want to see where the fire team is and blow up any ammo crates and medkits that you see in the area. And once that's all done, make sure you get your ass over to the fire team as fast as you can, because you want to catch them off guard, hopefully with a surprise plasma caster shot or smart disc attack or bear traps. And yeah, you preferably want to get to them before they start their mission. In this match I had a bit of a harder start, as the fire team managed to bamboozle me, you could say. Yeah, so of course, with this spawn location, the fire team could either go to this camp here that I'm currently in, or they would usually go down to drug campers, which is where you see the thermal decoys appearing over on the other side of the screen. That's usually where the fire team head if they spawn in there. But yeah, the fire team can be pretty good at confusing the predator sometimes, so you need to be, you definitely need to be on your A game. So when you're approaching the fire team for your first engagement, you want to try and maybe get somebody down or get some health down with a smart disc kit. Of course, that one didn't quite connect there. So you either want to, you either want to hit them with a smart disc, make sure you've got high sensitivity and you've turned off your frame rate cap for that. Or you can of course try and get a surprise bear trap, preferably get above them in a tree and drop it down on their head. Sometimes dropping two is very effective because they'll run away from one and then step into the other. Managed to get my first down here, and yeah, just make sure that they shoot them while they're down on the ground, and try and secure that first kill. Well, that's the most important thing, securing your first kill, because most organised fire teams, once you get your first kill out of the way, the rest of the team can become a bit less organised and crumble, especially as it's just another less man that's firing off bullets at you, really, and the fire team's damage output is insane, so you never really want to face all four of them at once, because you'll get melted by the likes of the Source 50 sniper and the 1011-12 pistol and the hammerhead, of course. Now, okay, so once you get injured, if you can find pigs, then try to use some of them and not use up all your healing kit straight away. If you have a large pouch of medic, then that's a very good combination to use. Probably the two most effective and useful perk combinations that are out there. Of course, you have downrange partner with that, because you need a damage it bust to even get some players down with the insane health pool that the fire team has with their Surrettes and of course damage reductions. Okay, so I've managed to find the fire team again here, so of course, you just want to try and get, once you are attacking the fire team, you just want to deal as much damage as possible and then get out, and preferably with a kill. Now there's a sort of unspoken rule that you tend to have to live by, really, here. And if you go in for an engagement, either with the bow or with the plasma caster, most of the time with the bow, if you haven't got someone down or killed within 4 seconds, then leap away, because that's roughly the amount of time that the fire team will take to get over there and help their teammate out and start melting you. So yeah, never spend more than 4 seconds in an engagement. That tends to be a very good little pointer and a lifestyle tip in the hunting grounds. Because as soon as the fire team see that their friend's getting flipping attacked by the Predator, they are going to rush over to him and flipping, you know, kick him in the face, basically. So yeah, the Fireteam's damage is insane, as you can see here. Never ever just run in straight lines and try not to leap too much if you're spotted or if there's snipers on the team. Try and sprint behind things, and try and cut the line of sight from the Fireteam to you, because you know, if you're running through bushes, it's harder for them to quite get the spot on you and the shot. And if you're running behind cliffs and stuff, well, of course, you know, you can't quite shoot through walls in this game unless you have 999 ping and you're teleporting all over the place like some people do in this game. But yeah, so yeah, you want to just try and cut line of sight to the Fireteam when they're attacking you when you're running away. And yeah, when you're using the bow, never stand still. You always got to be mobile and moving around and taking quick pot shots. And another rule that I tend to try and live by is that if you miss 2 or more bow shots, well, if you miss 2 bow shots or 3 bow shots in a row, then leap out. And when you leap out, just try and reset your position and then plan your next attack, whether it's going to be a range caster shot, a smart disc throw, drop some bear traps from above. You really do have to be kind of unpredictable, otherwise the Fireteam will just be able to predict your every move. You've got to have erratic and rapid movement, and always zigzagging with your runs whenever you're shooting caster or you're using the bow. And yeah, and also if you're trying to kill the Fireteams, do try to refrain from quick claiming them, because you will get melted. If you don't have your second wind, never claim them. I mean, if you can get your first kill by shooting them whilst down with the bow or the plasma pistol, whatever you're running, then do that, because it's a much more safe method and you can get out on time. Plus, if you're gonna get the quick claim, sacrifice your second wind at the start of the match just to get that first player out. Other than that, then that's fair enough. But yeah, try not to sacrifice your second wind too erratically. And yeah. And never ever just go in all guns blazing against 4 Fireteam. You also need to keep pressure on the Fireteam, because when you're not attacking them, it's not like they're going to be sitting around waiting for you to come back. They're going to be completing that mission, pushing that. So that's why you want to use the medic perk. It is a very good setup indeed. I'd say large pouch medic and downrange on the jungle hunter here is probably the best kind of loadout that you can really use. It's the optimal perk combination. Medic and large pouch is always good on basically any class. You can make it work with most classes, even the likes of Berserker. But the only problem is that with that, of course, you know, you would need a journal boost. But yeah, Berserker isn't a viable class in the game. He's probably the worst Predator in the game, in fact. But yeah. The main classes that you want to be running are the likes of, well, Jungle Hunter and Hunter. There's the same stats and everything, or Cleopatra, or City Hunter, or maybe Valkyrie, or of course Elder Stalker. Those are the most viable classes. But yeah, so yeah. Well, when you are facing the Fireteam, you just need to try and deal as much damage to one player as possible, more often than not. I mean, if you're throwing the smart disc and you're able to get multi-downs, then please do that. I know my friend Stomey is really good at that, and I've managed to do that a few times myself when I'm on my A game. And yeah, but in specifics with the tracker Jungle Hunter, yeah, it's mainly used as a prevention of reinforcements, and that can be very useful, especially if you're against a really good Premade Fireteam, whether they're on PlayStation or on PC, if it's full of good snipers, or maybe field medics, or just, you know, just overall really great individuals, or a very well organized team, then it's not a very good idea to let them get reinforcements, especially if you know their mission, and if they have a short mission, then they're going to be pushing that and getting out for the exfil as fast as they can. And there's only so much pressure that you can put on before the Fireteam either kill you or they get the chopper. So you need to put on a lot of pressure on the Fireteam. It's really essential. Now of course, you know, it is possible to play matches against good teams and win without the likes of the medic perk, but it really does make things a lot more comfortable. I mean, you may choose to run Adrenal Boost instead, for example, and that would allow you to get to the fire team even faster, catch them off guard even faster, and be on them, putting pressure on straight from the start of the game, and that of course really does help you get that first player out of the game straight away, because they won't be expecting it. Whether you get them with a surprise smart disc attack, but basically off the bat as soon as they mud up, or maybe if you drop bear traps from above, of course. And another little tip that I like to sometimes use is if you're going to try and go for bear traps throwing like at the start of the match, as soon as you spawn in, press the cloak button, because you'll probably notice after playing the game for a while, as soon as you press the cloak button, the predator will start clicking madly like a wild little woodpecker pecking his head away at a tree, and it'll alert the fire team to your location very promptly. So yeah, you want to make sure that you're not making that much noise when you're trying to drop bear traps from above. But if you do forget to cloak up like straight at the start to try and get the clicking noises out of the way to develop some more stealth, then just try throwing a smart disc from quite a while away. Oh yes, and as you'll see in this little piece here, never engage in knife fights unless you know the player hasn't really got a chance, or if it's someone who, you know. But yeah, knife fights are not a good idea because, let's be honest, the fire team's knife deals more damage than the predator's wrist blades, which is very stupid. So do refrain from knife fights if you can. If I'm in a public match and I see a Dutch 87 or a Dante with the Outrage Bane and Heavy Hitter, there's no way I'm going to engage in a knife fight. So yeah, do try to refrain from those. Always try to use your ranged weapons and stay to the best of that. And yeah, I managed to just about win this match with a Jungle Hunter Tracker, and next match I'll be with Jungle Hunter Fervent. Okay, so with Jungle Hunter Fervent, you can... It's basically the other most versatile build in the game, really. With Fervent, you tend to use it more if you are either more focused on getting your first kill in the game, or maybe you just prefer, you know, the overall damage buff that it you know, can give you. Yeah, Fervent and Tracker are both pretty optimal specializations. They're both pretty solid. Tracker I usually use more if I'm having a good roll on the day, and I perhaps want to prevent re-in, because I feel like I won't need that much of the damage boost from Fervent to help me at the start of the match for the first kill. But yeah, if you do want to play with Fervent instead, then that's completely fine. I mean, sometimes I have my days where I just struggle to get that first kill, and Fervent really can be the game changer. And of course, you can use it in a different kind of way and try and just whittle the fire team members down one by one and put them on low health with it. But overall, Fervent is probably best because, well, it's probably best used if you just use it all on one fighting member and get them out of the game as fast as you can, because no matter what, you do not want to be having to continuously face 4 fighting members throughout the entire match, because if you're just whittling them down, then they're also going to be whittling you down at the same time, making you push for heal kits and for pigs, and they'll be completing the mission, and they'll be able to do it even more promptly if they have all 4 of their members still alive. So yeah, you do want to get that first kill out of the way, as I've said about 1,000 times already, but you know, it is very important. You've got to remember that. And usually, yes, if you can get one player out of the game, then usually the second and third kills do tend to follow. It's just something that always happens. I mean, it's either whether the fire team get consumed by the adrenaline or the shock, or they just become less organized. But yeah, it does tend to be the downfall of almost all pre-made teams, and it's a real key to perhaps getting a victory. If you can get that first kill out of the way, then you know you're in for a real treat. But yeah, if at the starting of the match, the best real methods, you just got to catch them by surprise, get to them as fast as you can, like throughout the duration of the match. Don't be afraid to be shooting off a far-range plasma caster shot against good teams. We all need it, really. Just don't bother listening to people who call you a plasma spammer, you know, unless you're sitting all the way across the map with dithered lens on downrange and just shooting it from across the map and nothing else. But still, like, we all need the plasma caster in a lot of these matches against good teams, and you can't really just go by and win without all your best weapons, because the best weapons in the game really are, for the Predators, the Smart Disc and the Plasma Caster, as they deal the most base damage. It can go from anything from around 100 for the Plasma Caster, or to 150 if you have downrange and Stalker or Analytic. Or if you have the Smart Disc, you can go up to, I believe, roughly 156 damage with a hit. You might need to correct me on those numbers exactly, but yeah, they like your best friends really are a little DVD, effectively, a little disc you can hold in your hand, and of course your best friend's quite literally on your shoulder in this game, the Plasma Caster. It is a very good weapon. Of course it's not perfect for facing all the members at once, but if you can get a few charged shots in on a group of people or on a single player to put them low, it really can help you. But yeah, the Archer Bow is probably the better option for going in on that one player, trying to get them out of the game. As you see here with Dante, he's very easily the most overpowered character in the game. Insanely fast, insanely tanky, very hard to hit and very hard to put down, even though you put that damage in. So you need to be landing your bow shots or getting some disc hits in. But yeah, so yeah, there are quite a lot of things that you need to be quite lethal of. Mainly is the main thing. But yeah, if I could give you some main tips, it's just try and deal as much damage to the fighting members as you can, as fast as you can, and just try and get that first player out of the game. And if you're against a good pre-made team, try not to allow reinforcements, as it will not exactly, be the most fun thing if you've just had to spend all your healing kits or eat a load of pigs and spend your bear traps, or the fighting have been putting pressure on the mission and destroying your smart discs, for example, and all of a sudden they have their Dante back, or their field medic, or their very fast scout duelist back, or something like that. Like against the best PlayStation and PC squads, you really do not want to allow reinforcements if you can manage it. And funnily enough, in these matches here as well, you usually use Tracker if you are going to prevent reinforcements, and Fervent if you are, of course, not too bothered about preventing it, but you just want to get that kill out of the way. Another little tip that I can give you here for when you're landing your smart disc kits is of course, when you are piloting it, just send it out and accelerate from a fair distance away is usually the most safe way to use it. And then as you steer it and get closer to a fighting member, hit the accelerate button as you are hitting on a direct path towards the fighting member, and you're most likely to hit them. Of course, you've got to make sure that you have all your horizontal and vertical sensitivities up to the max. Turn off your frame rate cap if that's possible for you on PS4 Pro, PS5, and I presume PC. That is, of course, possible. If you're on base PS4, then I'm afraid you can't have the frame rate cap turned off. But it is still doable, but it's just a lot more harder, as the disc appears to teleport all around the map all the time, and it's harder to get through doorways, etc. But yeah, if you just have your high sensitivity, then and you have a good ping, like if you're hosting the private match and you're against a good team, then you should be able to hold your own at least. But as far as the Yautja bow goes, you just want to keep running in zigzaggy lines and quickly firing off the shots. And you see the little red dot in the middle of your screen. If you can, try and line that up roughly with the quite closely actually with the fireteam member, and then just basically quick scope it as you would a sniper rifle, for example. And that is the most effective way, really. And also, if you did want to be really a lot more erratic and also harder to predict, you could also use another technique, which some people call the bunny hop method or the kangaroo hop method or whatever you want to call it, which is where of course you quick shot an arrow shot, and then you jump, and then you quick shot it again, jump again, quick shot, and then jump. It's actually quite an effective method, especially if you're using it on an already downed fighting member and you're trying to keep your shots on target. But yeah, yeah, it's certainly another method that you can use so to become that little bit more erratic. in your ways and unpredictable for the fire team to encounter. Now the funny part about all these matches is that I usually use tracker to try and prevent reinforcements. And funnily enough, I prevent reinforcements in the match I was using Fervent, which is this one here. But yeah. Overall, when you are attacking the fire team with the likes of the Archer bow and all your main weapons, make sure that you are never stationary. You've got to always be moving around the place. Well, people, I hope that you have enjoyed the video and I've passed on some wisdom from the hunting grounds onto you viewers, and I hope that I have been of help. And if you would like to see more content like this in the future, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the hunting grounds, my friends.